All right, we were responding to.
I got to get back into TikTok. Like it's like immediate, right? There's no like, hey, welcome back to the reaction channel.
No, boomer.
Welcome. Thanks for coming.
You are now a radio
We're back from the commercial break.
Yeah.
We said God doesn't make anyone gay for the same reason God didn't make anyone commit adultery. He didn't make anyone an alcoholic, and he didn't make anyone a pedophile. Devin Saylor 9993 responded, "You listed human characteristics that are either a choice or harmful to others. Being gay is neither, which makes Joe's question valid." What do you think about that?
So I'll address the comment and then I'll address the question.
Okay.
So you listed human characteristics that are either a choice or harmful to others. Being gay is neither, which makes Joe's question valid. So if your standard is the Bible and ours is being gay is harmful, not only to the person who is sinning against God, just like the adulterer or anyone else, but also to others and society, because sin affects other people as well.
Yeah.
So if you have an issue with that standard, we can argue, we can debate worldviews and compare worldviews, but our objective standard says that it does harm the person and their life. The gay person who is gay, their life does matter, and whatever sin they or I or anybody commits, even if I sit in my room and I slap myself 50 times, or I sin against myself, that still affects a valuable human made in the image of God. So I would say that, number one, according to my worldview, according to the Bible. And as far as it being a choice, I think that kind of goes with that God doesn't make anyone gay. I don't think that it's necessarily a choice to have those inclinations. We talked about this on the Andy Stanley podcast. I'll be more reacting, like soundbite.
Yep.
I would probably agree that I don't think that someone just chooses to have attractions to who they have attractions to. Like, I don't believe in conversion therapy or any of that crazy stuff like that. But it is a choice what you choose to do with said inclinations, whether that is, and I think the point Andrew was making when he wrote that comment, correct me if I'm wrong, was that if the Bible says something is a sin, it ultimately, whether you have an inclination to do that or not, it ultimately is a choice in whether or not you choose to do that. That was your point, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just reading his comment again. You listed human character. So I think the thing about this is when you say that no one is, dude, I don't know why I'm having a hard time getting my thoughts together today. When you say that these things are not a choice or are not harmful to others, would you say that committing adultery is harmful to others? Would you say that being an alcoholic is harmful to others? Would you say that being a pedophile is harmful to others? God classifies sin as all of these things. And while it might not hurt you in a personal way, it is still sinful. And we're still, I'm not, by no means am I saying, we're just simply saying that God has called these things wrong. God has called these things sinful. And so,
and the wages of sin is death.
Yeah.
So if you believe the wages of sin is death, then yes, it does hurt someone. And again, most importantly, it hurts that person.
Yeah. And so, here was what I wanted to say. Just because, we're not singling out I want to be very clear here. We're not singling out homosexual behavior as being particularly wrong or some particular sin. I think a lot of gay people think that Christians are doing that. We're really not. We're saying we struggle with sin. We all struggle with sin. I have desires to, sleep with tons of women. I have desires to look at porn. I have desires to be an alcoholic. All these things are sinful, and it is simply God has called these actions sinful. And so
you're called to deny yourself.
If somebody chooses to follow Christ, they're called to deny themselves. But we're not saying that homosexuality is some particularly unique, horrible behavior.
Yeah.
Look, in my eyes, committing adultery, cheating on your wife is exactly as bad as homosexual behavior.
Yeah, and also, again, I think that the reason that you might hear, maybe on your channel, or you might hear Christians talking about that more, is because that's the one particular sin that has its own section at Target. That's the one particular sin that is celebrated in our culture. So it's not about bashing certain sins or somehow singling out this group of people.
Yeah.
But if the culture is telling you that would you agree that if the culture was celebrating adultery,
Yeah.
and saying that we should be having adulterer parades, we would be going as hard on that as well.
Yeah. Like imagine you walked into Target and it was like, celebrate adultery.
Yeah, exactly.
Celebrate alcoholism. That would be weird. And as a Christian, I would begin to call out Target and I would begin to call out culture, because God has created a human order, and these things are in violation against God. So these people are hurting themselves and they're hurting everybody around them when they commit these things.
Yeah.
So,
but to the question, does God make people gay? Sin makes people sin, whether that's
or sin makes people sinners.
Sin makes people sinners.
Yeah.
So, or I would also say, the fall and sin is what leads people to having sinful inclinations.
Yeah.
Whether that be inclinations to watch pornography, whether that be inclinations towards homosexuality, whether it be inclinations towards stealing, lying, alcoholism, whatever it is. So the fall of man makes people sinful and have inclinations towards sin.
Yeah.